Hello everyone, my name is Zach, welcome back to my channel, hope you're doing well, and welcome back to another Papercut Book Club reading vlog, this time for the month of October, and the book of the month is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. You'll notice I'm in a very weird location. I'm actually at my local record store in my little town of St. Cloud. I'm a very frequent customer here, I'm a regular, and I'm very good friends with the owner. And he is on vacation in the Bahamas, and since I'm here so often, occasionally he asks me to look after the shop if he's going to be gone or busy on a certain day. He works in the airport during the week, and this is like his passion project that he does on the weekends, so I'm watching it for the weekend, so I need to find a record to put on, so I'm going to do that in a minute. I'm feeling maybe some blues. It's kind of a bluesy day. But it's stormy, it's rainy out today, so I'm not sure how busy we're actually going to be today, but we're at least open, so there's that. But I did bring Ninth House with me. There we go, there it is, Ninth House. With very boring black cover, I must say. I like hardcovers that have some sort of decoration to it, but that's just me. I also brought a book that I have been teasing on Twitter, a bad book I've been reading. If I haven't announced what it is, by the time this video goes up, there should be an announcement in another day or two. But I will hopefully get a lot of reading done. I've read 25 pages of Ninth House, and kind of mixed already. This is going to be a spoiler-free vlog, by the way, so if you haven't read it, don't worry. But I do kind of like the occulty stuff that is already showing up in the book. I do kind of like occult stuff. However, it does one of those things, or it seems like it's going to be doing that thing where you flip back and forth between multiple kind of time periods in the same story, and that's just not a technique I'm into. I think it's very easy to mess up, and it kind of confuses things. So, can't say that's like objectively a bad thing, but it's definitely got me a little worried. But I guess we'll see, and I'll check back in probably when I hit 100 pages or when something interesting happens, or I don't know, whatever. Alright, so it's the next night, and this angle looks familiar, doesn't it? You better get used to it if you're going to watch these reading vlogs, but I'm currently up to page 150 of Ninth House. Hi there, Editing Zach here. This vlog is really long already, and I basically repeat everything I said in this update in the long rant at the halfway point that's coming up in a minute here, so I'm just going to cut this out and skip you forward ahead, okay? Okay. Alright, hey guys, it is now Monday, the 21st, and I was watching the record store again today. I just got out. It's about 4 o'clock. I'm not going to give you an update quite yet. I want to read another 25 pages and give you a report at the halfway mark, but I'll just say for now that if things don't start changing soon, this is going to become a rant vlog very quickly. Anyway, I thought I'd show you some things I got at the library. I've been talking to Shay Geeks Out, who's a big fan of manga, and she has suggested that I pick up some Junji Ito, so I have Uzumaki. I thought I was getting a bind-up, but I think this might be the first volume or first part of it. I don't know, I'll have to see, but I'm interested to read it. I haven't really read any horror manga before. I haven't read manga in years. It might be middle school the last time I read manga, but we'll see. While I was there, I also picked up a book that I think Jordan might pick for next month's Papercut Book Club. I'm going to hold it up so you can see. If you don't want to be spoiled on the off chance that I'm right, you can just close your eyes till I start talking again. So 3, 2, 1. I think she might pick that, and then there's another book that is one she talks about a lot that she might pick. I'm kind of hoping she doesn't pick that one because I've DNF'd it once already, though everyone who likes it says I DNF'd it right before it actually starts to get good, so who knows. But maybe she'll hit me out of left field and I just won't see her pick coming, which I'd kind of prefer, though. Jordan, please, you're my girl. Please pick something besides fantasy. I can't do another fantasy book right now. I'm begging you, please. Sci-fi, like, I'll even take another dystopian right now. So just, please, come through for me, Jordan. I'm begging you. All right, I'll check back in soon. All right, guys, so it's about 7:30, and I got home and I filmed my Halloween special, which involved drinking. So I'm a fair bit intoxicated, so please bear with me while I try to explain this. Also did a little bit of shouting, so I feel like my voice is starting to go. Excuse me. But I am halfway in Ninth House, and I posted on Twitter that I was bored, and I've gotten some comments from people saying that they were enjoying it, and they were kind of surprised that I wasn't. So I'm going to kind of explain kind of at the halfway point why I'm not liking it, and kind of why I sort of understand if you are. So I feel like Leigh Bardugo's strength as a writer is definitely world building. I feel like she would be a killer writer for like pen and paper RPGs. I feel like she would be great at writing like her own like Grishaverse Dungeons and Dragons, because she would flesh out the world really well. And to me, this sort of reads like that. A ton of detailed world building, which is really impressive from a technical level. And I won't argue that that's really well done. Unfortunately, what she's doing with the world she's built, to me, is not that interesting. I'm sorry if I repeat a bunch from yesterday. But with all these characters, I don't know what they want and what they're trying to do, what they're striving for. Like there's this thing they talk about the main character, you know, she needs Yale, she needs to do well so she could stay at Yale. But why? Is she trying for a degree so she can do something after Yale? Is she trying to earn a position in the society she's working within? And if the latter's the case, why isn't her main focus on, you know, striving to do well? She doesn't really seem to be trying to, you know, impress the other members. She doesn't seem to be trying to work towards a position. I just don't know what her goal is, so I don't know what she's working for. So it's hard to get behind her when you don't know what she wants besides just to not flunk out. When a character's whole struggle is staying where they are, maintaining their status quo, it's not that interesting. And also this, I mentioned yesterday, that the kind of main driving force, kind of the only plot point that's actually going anywhere, is like a murder mystery. But the setup for this murder mystery is that she's investigating a death because it felt weird to her. And, okay, it felt weird, but she has no real reason for suspicion besides feeling weird. If they had given something she'd found, something concrete that says, you know, there's more to this than meets the eye, then I could get behind her. But she's just investigating this death based on a feeling. And, you know, all her friends are telling her just to go home and leave it alone. The detective's telling her to leave it alone. You know, everything's telling her to leave it alone. And the only reason she's investigating it is a feeling. And I can't really get behind that as a plot point. It's a really flimsy setup for a plot, a feeling. And I feel like if Leigh Bardugo had just given just one concrete reason, one reason to suspect that this feeling is correct, or even like a direct thing where we can point to and say, yes, this suggests there's more to the story, then I would easily be behind this, but I'm not, because it's just a feeling. And it's, again, why is she investigating this? Besides just a feeling, is she wanting to prove a point that she's diligent and has a place in the society? Is she didn't know this girl, so it's not like a personal thing. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, and I find it hard when the characters, there's no, like, personal gain they're working towards. So I can't get behind, like, the character journey of really any character. I don't know what any character's working toward. I can tell you, like, sporadic character traits about each of them, but not what their goal in life is and everything. And again, the only real plot point is a murder mystery that has a flimsy setup. And so it's hard to get behind that too. And so that's why I'm not really enjoying this. And while I admit it's not really bad, as I said, the world building is really good. She spent a long time building this thing, it seems. It also just doesn't... you have an interesting world, okay? If I wanted an interesting world building, I could read the Dungeons and Dragons player handbook, which I have. Or I could play like an RPG that has a story, but also has hours and hours of world building because you spend 50 plus hours playing that game. You know, like I want an interesting story. I want characters with goals and inspiration, or and you know things they're working towards, so I can get behind them. And it's just. And also, one more thing I will mention is that she keeps like alluding to this thing that happened between Alex and Darlington, and like this thing that's Alex's fault. And okay, yeah, you're building tension by making us wonder what happened. But here's the thing, you're really not. Because we already know the outcome of whatever this event is. And personally, I'm just frustrated that she won't just tell me what happened. Like, it's okay to, like, hint at an event to come and then pay it off. That's a plant and payoff. That's fairly common in storytelling, and it's fairly well. But she keeps planting and hinting at it. And it's like, just tell me what happened. And regardless, like, whatever the specifics of the detail is, I know the outcome of what happens to both the characters involved in that scenario and how it affects the plot, because we're in different time periods and that happened between time periods. So like, even though I don't know specifically what happened, it doesn't matter because I already know the outcome of that event and how it affects the story. So like, I'm not going to be at the edge of my seat. Oh, what happens in this, action sequence, in this whatever weird thing happened? I already know what happened. You told me, because we're flipping to different time periods. So, like, I'm just frustrated that you won't tell me what happened, and it doesn't even matter, because I already know. So, I hope that makes sense. It's just, I think it's just kind of the reader I am, because I feel like I tend to notice things like that more than other people, and, like, I'll complain that, oh, the author gave that away or made it blatantly obvious, or, like, I already knew that was going to happen, and people are like, how did you know that? And it's like, well, did you pay attention to these small things? And people will be like, no. I'm not saying I'm superior to any other reader. Sometimes I wish I was a reader like that, because it seems to be a lot more fun than sitting here, knowing your technical stuff and then kind of killing the storytelling. But, I mean, I have half a book to go. This is the halfway point. So maybe it'll pick up. Maybe it'll get better. I'm really hoping, because I'm really bored. And I'm really disappointed that all this interesting world building is going to really nothing. And I'm kind of disappointed in the occult stuff too, because it's just ghosts. And it's like, there's so much more you can do with the occult. I'm going to put some pictures up from Silent Hill, some of the monsters from the Silent Hill series, so you can see what kind of interesting things you can do with the occult. Ghosts is like the basic bitch of the occult. So like, when I heard occult, I was hoping for a lot more than I'm getting. But I've already spent 8 minutes rambling, according to my video timer, so I'm going to stop now. Check back in soon. Alright, hey guys, so it's Wednesday night, and I hit just short of page 350. I'm like 348 or something. And since I last talked to you, we got 2 key like backstory scenes, and they were relatively well done. But one thing I want to note is, like, in books like this, where usually like the backstory is hinted at, or like events from the past are heavily hinted at, there's usually like a little bit of like an introduction or something that leads into the actual reveal of this story. Whether it be the character's going to tell another character the story, and then you get to like see the story, or the character like thinks about it, or even just like dreams about it. But you just kind of get dropped unceremoniously into these like flashbacks, and it wasn't until the very end of the first one that I realized, oh, this is supposed to be that scene. So that was kind of like, oh, all this build up, and then you just start it, without any pomp and circumstance. You just, here you go, here's that scene I've been building up to. The second flashback, it felt more natural, because there's like a confession, there's something said in the first one that leads into the second one. So that one felt a little more natural. And then it flashes back to the main plot that's happening, and I had totally forgotten what was happening. And I was like, oh, oh yeah, that's happening right now, isn't it? Um, so that's where it's at kind of right now. It's picking up a little bit. I did want to quickly talk about. I did post on Twitter that I'm not super enjoying this. I'm just not really forming any like emotional connection to it. It's just kind of there. Um, excuse me. I'm a little bored. It's starting to pick up, but I'm still a little bored. But I just want to kind of say like, um, it kind of sucks being the guy who doesn't seem to like enjoy anything. I posted this a while ago, but sometimes I feel like the grumpy old man of BookTube, where I'm always like, picking up these books that everyone loves and finds incredible, and I'm just kind of like, it has this problem, it has this, it has that. And I kind of wish when it came to books, I was more like I am with music, where with music I tend to gravitate towards the things I like instead of the things I don't like, unless there's like something that's like glaringly bad. Um, I mean, take something like Bob Dylan's music, where his guitar work was simple. He was no virtuoso, and his voice sounds like a foghorn that learned to speak. But I gravitate towards the lyrics. I gravitate towards the emotion he puts into his singing, despite the fact his like actual singing voice is pretty objectively bad. Um, and so I gravitate towards that one thing I like, and not his like tone of voice. But when it comes to books, just like I don't know, those small things, all the things I've talked about in this vlog, character motivation and setup and pacing and story structure, they tend to weigh me down, and I can't focus on the good things like the world building, as I've talked about. And so it kind of sucks. But if you were one of the people clowning on me on Twitter about me not liking this book, it's totally fine. It's totally cool. This is a much more an internal thing than anything y'all are saying. So feel free to keep clowning on me in the future if you want. Regardless of whatever you say, I'm probably gonna feel like this. I mean, like, I read Illuminae over the summer and was like, what's the big deal? This is so meh. So I guess that's just kind of me, but I guess I'll update you again soon. I think it's supposed to really start picking up here. I only have 100 pages left, so if it's going to start picking up, it's got to do it soon. But I'll check back in with you soon. Chapter 25. That's the payoff. Been building up this subplot, and that's the payoff I get. I don't think that's really it, the supposed end to that subplot, but if it is, what a lame payoff. I'm gonna kind of awkwardly hop squat here. It is Friday night, and I just finished this book. I said something on Twitter, and I'm going to repeat it here, is I think Ninth House is very much like 2001 A Space Odyssey, kind of in book form. And by that, number one, I kind of mean, I think this is a book that either clicks with you and you love it unabashedly and you think it's like the greatest thing ever, or you go through it and you just kind of come out on the other side really confused and you're just kind of like, I don't know what to think about this because I don't know what I just went through and what I experienced. And I'm obviously one of the latter, as I'm sure you've gathered from the rest of this vlog. And I also mean that in the sense that 2001 is a film that I respect very much on a technical level. The special effects are amazing and the cinematography is great because it's Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, me from the past, you didn't finish explaining your metaphor here, buddy. So, basically what I was trying to say here is that I respect 2001 on a technical level, but I find the film really boring, mostly because it's kind of baffling and I don't really know what the heck I'm looking at. And I kind of feel the same way about the book. It's technically well done, but emotionally lacking because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm gonna let Zach from the past better tell you about how he feels about the book now.
And I think the world building, as I talked about earlier, is super well done. I think the prose in this novel is pretty good. All the descriptions made sense to me. and everything. As far as the story goes that this tells, um, it didn't really have much of one for most of the book, in my opinion, and then it tries to throw too much at you at the end, to where nothing really sticks because you're just kind of like, all right, well that came the hell out of nowhere. Um, so more or less out of indifference, I think I'm going to give this a 3 stars. But to be honest, I think if you ask me about this book in a month's time, I'm not going to be able to tell you much about it or what I thought, because it's just going to be like, I remember it was weird and it didn't do much for me. So there you go. So if you are a non-spoiler person, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. But I do want to do a quick spoiler thoughts for people who have read the book. So now's your chance to make your exit, because it's spoiler time in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so real quickly I want to talk about some things. At the end there with the wheel walkers, the thing that Belbum or whatever her name was at the end, and that Alexar, that was really poorly done in my opinion. She should have, Leigh Bardugo should have given us that information about those things existing earlier in the book, and that would have set up the twist ending a lot better. Also, the idea of the nexuses being created by these wheel walkers would have made a lot more sense if we hadn't just been introduced to it earlier in the page, or 1 page earlier, or whatever it was. So that really made the ending suffer, in my opinion. I did call Darlington being brought back not being totally gone. I'm really kind of unhappy with how that plot thread ended, because it was like, oh, he got eaten. What? And also I was really annoyed because, like, the Hellbeast sounds really interesting. We finally got something from the occult that was not ghosts, and I really wanted to see more of that, and it's there for like half a page, and you get like a vague description, then it's gone. So that did not make me happy. Also, and this is my last really serious complaint, the scene with Mercy, where Mercy gets drugged, and she basically gets raped because she's drugged and unable to give consent. So the scene where Mercy gets raped, in my opinion, that scene's kind of grossly used, because it's there so Alex can go talk to Blake. We can establish he's not a trustworthy guy. She gets new names to chase, and then it's more believable when we think Blake really is the killer, even though he isn't. And then she gets drugged and raped, Mercy, and then she's just over it because the video of it's erased from history, and then Alex made him do something nasty. Like, no, that's not a good thing to put in there. She would be, like, that's something horrific to happen to you, and you would probably be haunted by that memory, by the knowledge that happened to you for years to come. So the fact she gets over it, like, instantaneously, and the fact that scene's basically in there to move the murder mystery plot along that was flimsy to begin with and doesn't really have the greatest payoff, which is, like, the only driving force in the novel, kind of gross to me, but, you know, hey. I'm interested to see what the hosts think on Sunday night. I need to start throwing this vlog together because I have a 24-hour readathon starting in like 30-40 minutes. So that's Booathon. A vlog for that should be up in the next few days. But until next time, I will see you. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I will see you next month for the next Papercut Book Club reading vlog. See ya.